All right, Houston Texans, quietly it feels like, getting it going. All the hype about them before the season that they were finally going to break through. Then people, I guess, disappointed that it didn't look like this was going to be the season. But, man, Matt Schaub and his weapons out there offensively taking off. They're now 3-3, and they are hosting the San Francisco 49ers. And really an interesting game there. We haven't seen the 49ers since they got obliterated at home. That defense had looked so good up until just getting lambasted in their last game. But they're coming off the bye. And, Ed, I pointed this out. I believe that the teams coming off of their bye are now 7-1 this season. So it's an interesting trend there. Niners plus 3.5 at the Texans. How do you see this one going?
Michael Crabtree going to make his first start in Texas for his homecoming.
Right. I didn't put 2 and 2 together. Correct.
Yeah. But the Texans, Matt Schaub, he's done pretty good. Yeah, he's a pretty good quarterback. I think it's a tricky game.
Yes,
but
it is.
The 49ers probably lose. No, I'm going to take the Texans to win that ball game.
It really is rough. The two trends are the thing I've been saying, in broad strokes about this NFL season is that it seems like the defenses don't matter as much as the offenses this year. If you have the potent offense, that's going to win out because there just aren't very many good defenses. I guess best proven by what the Saints did last weekend to the Giants, which I guess a lot of people would consider to be the best defense in the NFL, and they gave up, 49 last week.
Well, you know what, but see, here's what you got to look at, too, because I got messed up. I had the Giants on a super teaser getting 17 points, and they still didn't cover.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. But it ain't too amazing because if you look at all the teams every year, there's always one game that even the great teams get blown out by like more than 20.
Yeah, you can't get to – I agree. I think the Giants – I'm not worried about the Giants long-term for this season. I think they'll end up being just fine. I'm just saying that the offenses are winning out more. The other trend, though, is, like I say, teams coming off their bye, and it's a tough call for me. I'm going to go with the Niners down there in Houston this weekend.
No, I got the Texans.
Yeah, as you said. Now, next up, you got the Indianapolis Colts, your beloved Colts there. 5-0, coming off the bye, at home against the Rams. How do you figure that number is only 13.5? That number has to go way up before kickoff, right?
Well, they're on the road, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I said that they're at home. Yeah, they're at the Rams. You're right. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. So.
And then sometimes teams get up to play the Colts. They know they're just going to be the this year's Super Bowl champs. We already know that. Mm-hmm. And they want to try to say, hey, we're going to be the only team to beat them this year, which they probably won't be no team to do it.
Well, it is. I mean, it's hard to imagine the Rams winning this one. They're 0-6 going against undefeated Indianapolis. Colts, another one of those teams coming off their bye there. I got to take the Colts to win by 2 touchdowns, right?
45-10, the Colts.
Oh, an embarrassing home loss for those Rams. Things continue to get worse and worse down there. Next up,
and I'm hoping the Colts can trade for that Steven Jackson kid, man. I wish they'd have got him.
Yeah, never any trades, Ed. Now, they're rare, or not never, but maybe there's one a year. This year it was Braylon Edwards. Last year it was Roy Williams and so on. But you don't see the way it is in baseball or hockey or NBA. You don't see the multiple deals at the trade deadline in the NFL. Why do you think that is? You think it's because these coaches really believe, our guy can't learn a guy coming in wouldn't be able to learn the playbook in time? I don't buy that. I think there are too many guys. Braylon Edwards obviously moved over and the same week went down to Miami and had that huge game there. So I don't buy that. I wonder why we don't see more in-season trades in the NFL. Any theories?
Just like even in fantasy football, man, the kids in my league, they're afraid to trade. I'm like, come on, man, we ain't even playing for nothing. You guys don't want to make no deals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's too bad. Yeah, fantasy's more fun with some trades in there.
Football, I think just everybody who plays football is scared.
Is that that's a fair statement to make about anybody who plays football, that anybody who plays football is scared?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I was just making sure I had that clear. All right, next up, probably the game of the weekend, Pittsburgh Steelers at home. They've won 3 in a row, hard to be too excited about any of those wins against the banged-up Chargers, then the Lions, then the Browns. Now a legitimate test for the Steelers at Heinz Field, giving 4.5. I'm surprised the number is so large, actually, against the undefeated Minnesota Vikings and their quarterback, Brett Favre. You've heard that he's on the Vikings, right, Ed?
Yeah, the guy's burnt me a couple of times this year.
Yep.
Yep.
What do you think about this one?
Pass to the 49ers.
Oh, yeah, that was a tough one.
I wrote him a bad letter. I wonder if he got it.
I don't know, yeah. But so what do you think about this one? This is a tough call here. Steelers, that's a lot of points, isn't it?
I don't think it's a tough call at all.
Lay it on me then.
I think you got to say the Steelers crush them.
Crush them? Why? How are they going to crush them?
Well, listen. Just like last week. Last week, if I'd have told you the Saints was going to crush the Giants, you'd have said crush them just like you did. Mm-hmm. Looks like that might be what happens this week.
Crush them is how I said it. Yeah, right.
You ain't crush them.
Well, listen,
you had some ice in your mouth.
I would agree with you. I took a sip of water, if that's all right. Here's the thing with the game. The Steelers, it's hard to run on the Vikings, and I don't expect Mendenhall, who's going to get the bulk of the carries, or Fast Willie to get going against the Williams boys. Although,
who gave that guy that nickname, Fast Willie? I've never seen that guy be fast.
Oh, stop it! Listen, he is a step slower. I'll give you that. But there was a day when he was a burner. But the Steelers probably aren't going to run. I was going to say, though, Ray Rice and company did get going there in the fourth quarter in the Dome last week against the Vikings. But I don't know, the Steelers don't have much of a running game to speak of, and let alone against one of the better rush defenses. To me,
this is going to level every week.
Well, for me, this really is about how the Steelers – this will say a lot about the Steelers' long-term prospects for 2009. If they can slow down Adrian Peterson, because the Steelers lost a guy named Aaron Smith on the defensive line. A lot of people probably don't know him, but when he went out a couple of years ago, the defense fell apart. The Jags ran all over them in the regular season and then in the playoffs. So if they can stop Adrian Peterson, I'll start to feel more confident as a Steeler fan. I think on the other side of things, it's number 7's game. Every week it seems like it comes down to how Roethlisberger plays for the Steelers at home. And again, I said this last week, and it's it's foolish logic, but the Vikings aren't going undefeated. So if we understand that that's not going to happen, you look at the games on their schedule and figure out which ones it's plausible that they're going to lose. Coming up in Lambeau on November 1st, that's going to be a tough one for them. I say the Steelers. And, by the way, they might even be looking at that game already. They might already be saying, man, the big one is coming up in Lambeau. In the meantime, we have to go into Pittsburgh, but it's not as big for us. It's not a divisional game. It's not far returning to the Packers' home field and so on and so forth. So for those reasons, I'm going to go with the Steelers minus the 4.5. You say the Steelers blow them out, though.
Yeah, I say Benlisberger throw at least 2-3 touchdowns and get them rolling.
Okay, good. Next up, the New England.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something. You could tell that you were a Steeler fan because you just talked 39 minutes about that game, and every other team you talked 32 seconds.
Well, listen, I enjoy the Steelers. I'm emotionally invested. You understand that, right, Ed?
I don't know.
All right. New England Patriots now at 4-2, and after what they did to Tennessee last week, you got to figure that they're starting to get it rolling there. They're giving 14.5. It's technically a game at Tampa Bay, but in fact it's in London. Buccaneers haven't won a game yet. I have every reason to think the Patriots, except for maybe, who knows, maybe they're jet lagged or something. Other than that, I figure they'll blow them out. But what do you think about what they did last week? Did that bother you, Ed, that they just they beat them 59-0? Did you think that was necessary?
It's always necessary. Listen, you've always got to punish your opponent as much as you can. You got to show no mercy. You cannot. Listen, that's why records are meant to be broken.
Mm-hmm. You're using a lot of cliches, that's for sure.
Well, I'm just saying. And now New England goes to Old England to play a ball game.
As far as that goes, you're a man who knows your history. Don't you think it's funny that the Patriots, who fought against the King's troops back in the Revolution, and then the Buccaneers, who are pirates, who attacked the King's Navy, isn't that funny that they're playing one another in England? Don't you think that's sort of a dig at the English?
Yeah, I'm surprised that they didn't get some other teams to play over there, but maybe that's what they want to do.
Yeah. And
well,
what about?
I don't even know how they pick these games either, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't want. I'll tell you this much: I would not want to be on one of those teams. It seems unnecessary. I would be really bent out of shape if in the middle of the season you said, "Yeah, guess what? You're jumping on a plane and flying to another continent to play your game."
Do something like that. Do that the first game of the season.
Yeah, that's a good point. What did you think, by the way? Because the Colts and talking about Jeff Fisher losing 59-0. What did you make of Jeff Fisher wearing that Peyton Manning jersey?
I think they should fire him right on the spot. I don't care if he's joking or not. You should never, do something like that. You can't disrespect your team like that. Talking about he want to be a winner, I mean, I'd like